Hey guys, Brett here, and today I'm looking at a new software called SurvAI. Now it's spelled Surv, S-U-R-V-A-I. And the AI, of course, stands for artificial intelligence. And there is some really generic, in my opinion, pointless artificial intelligence integration inside of the software. And honestly, it's probably only there just so they can capitalize on the hype that's been surrounding artificial intelligence lately. So take the AI part with a grain of salt. Now, none of that means that this is a bad software. I just wanted to get that out right away. The AI part of SurvAI is total hype. It's kind of pointless. I'll show you what it does, but there's really no need for it in my opinion. Now, normally when I test software, what I do is I actually get access to the software, and then I play around with it, and I start running some tests with it. You can actually see I have a survey here, the first one called Brett's Test, and I've actually done another one as well that I deleted. But I don't want to just test the software this time and tell you what I think. I want to do more than that in this particular instance. So what I'm going to do is, now that I've actually tested it and know how it works, I'm going to go ahead and use it in my own business. Now, I'm going to show you me setting it up to use it in my own business. I'll tell you about what I like and what I don't like as I go. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you the results that I get after I use it in my own business. So I'm going to set it up, wait 24 hours, and then show you the results that I get. So you can get a really good perspective on how the software works and whether or not it's going to be good for your business as well. Okay, so to get started, what I'm going to do is click on Create Blank Survey. Now, I could choose from a template. There are some template surveys made for you, basically done for you surveys, but I'm not interested in that. I want to go ahead and click on a blank survey. Now, you might have noticed that this is a survey software. It's a software for creating surveys. So you can survey people, ask them questions, give them feedback, and then you can redirect them to different websites based on the answers to their questions. And there's a lot of ways that you would use this type of software. You could use it to integrate with your existing customers. You can use it to qualify potential customers. You can use it for offline clients to qualify potential customers for them. You can use it to get feedback about your business. But what I'm going to use it for is the thing that I think is going to be most valuable for most people in this space. I'm going to use it to try to build up my email list. And for anybody wondering why I picked that specific goal, why I say that I think most people would be using this to build up an email list, it's because your email list is in essence your money. If you have a decent quality email list of people that actually opted in, I'm not saying you should buy an email list, but if you actually have an opted in email list, you can basically print money. Email, if they're opt-in, equals money. Don't buy an email list, that's stupid. All right, so that's why I picked that goal. Let's go ahead and start building our survey with an AI. All right, so the first thing I need to do is I need to go ahead and enter in the name of my title of my survey. Now, people are going to be able to see that. So I need to enter in a relevant title, something that's really going to capture their attention. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give away some free training for anybody that completes this survey, and including the part where they have to enter in their email address. But I need to give them a reason as to why they should fill out a survey in the first place. Like, why should they go through those steps? Well, the reason I want them to go through those steps is because the last thing I'm going to ask them for is their email address. And if they already spend 30 seconds or a minute going through the steps of answering the questions, they're going to have a lot of incentive to enter in their email address, because otherwise they just wasted that time. They've already committed themselves by answering my questions, so that means they're much more likely to enter in their email address. But what I need to do is give them a reason as to why I'm asking them the questions in the first place. If there's no reason for them to answer the questions, there's no justification for the survey, there's no real reason for them to fill it out. So what I'm going to say is get personalized training on how to build a 7-figure business. So this now justifies the questions. It's because your training that you're going to get is going to be personalized. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to send them to a different free training course based on the answers of their survey that they enter. All right, so I've gone and I've entered in my title. I want the visibility to be on. I'm going to go ahead and click on Save Changes, and it's going to continue. Now, one of the first things I want to point out about this software is something that I don't like about it because it's a bug. If you actually look up here, it says, move your mouse over the icon. There's a little exclamation point icon to get more information about each feature. But that doesn't work a lot of the times. So you can see this one right here. It says Survey Visibility. I'm going to mouse over it. it doesn't work. It's not working. Survey title does work, but the icon is so small that it's kind of hard to get your mouse pointed right at it. If you go off just a little bit, it doesn't work. Like, they could have made the icons a little bigger. This one here, turn on password, doesn't work. Password doesn't work. Turn on limit answer, doesn't work. I'm mousing right over it. It's not working. Welcome page doesn't work. Most of the times that tooltip icon pop up, it doesn't work. And it's pretty lame that it doesn't work because they're specifically telling you, like, oh, this is a feature. It's right on the page. Move your mouse over the icon to get more information. And then it doesn't work. I mean, like, did they ever hear of beta testing? Like, I guess not, because here's a bug that I found in about 10 seconds. All right, let's go ahead and continue. Another thing that I noticed that I don't like about this at all is that when you click on Save Changes, so you can see it's actually in tabs here. So there's settings, questions, customization, thank you, results, leads, all that good stuff. Each one is a tab. There's different features inside of each tab. That's cool that they broke it up. But when you click on Save Changes, it doesn't automatically advance you to the next section. So I've gone and I've entered my settings. I clicked on Save Changes, and I'm still on the settings page. I mean, like a common sense would have been for it to advance me to the next tab so I can continue filling out my settings, filling out my survey and creating it. But they don't. So I have to click Save Changes, and then I have to come up here and I have to click Questions in order to continue. And that's super lame. It's a pain in the ass. And honestly, it's poor design. It's about as good a design as tooltips that don't work. All right, so inside here, now I can go ahead and I can start adding my questions. Now you can see right here, it says generate questions using AI. So I can go ahead and click this button and it'll generate questions for me. It'll ask me what kind of questions I want to add, what's the topic, and it will use AI to generate questions for me. And that's the AI part. And like I said, I personally think that's pretty lame. Like, come on, type your own damn questions in. If you don't care about your customers enough to even pick your own questions that you want to ask them, then maybe you shouldn't be in business. Okay, let's be honest. Okay, you want to get your customers to give you a few minutes of their time to answer some questions for you, and you don't even care enough to fill the questions in and create the questions yourself. Do something else. Okay, so I'm not really impressed by the AI part of this. I'm going to completely discount that. I'm going to pretend it doesn't even exist. As far as I'm concerned, it's only there just for hype and for marketing buzz. All right. Now, in order to add questions, though, it is quite easy. On the left-hand side, you can see all the different types of questions, and there are a lot of them. There's multiple choice questions, there's short text questions, long text questions, yes or no questions, drop-down options. You can ask them for a phone number, an email address, a specific date. So if you want them to schedule something, you can integrate a calendar. You can ask them number questions where they answer a number. You can ask them ratings. So, for example, you can ask them to rate a product that they just bought or rate a feature or something like that. Very cool. There's sliders and there's page breaks. Page breaks is not actually a question. Page breaks just divides the questions into different pages. So you could have multiple pages that load, and that will make sense as I create my questions. So in order to get started, the first thing I want to do is I want to show them a video, and I want to ask them if they're interested in getting free training. So I'm going to select a yes or no question. I'm going to go ahead and drag that in there. And then I can go ahead and I can fill out my question. Now, it's going to say that I can enter in a video, and that's what I want. I want to have a video on my very first question because I want to be able to talk to the customers and give them reasons in the video why they should fill out the survey. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in my video code right there. Now, there's an option for yes or no because it's a yes or no question, and I can redirect them to a specific URL based on what they say. So if they click yes, I can redirect them somewhere. If I click no, I can redirect them somewhere. If I don't redirect them anywhere, then they'll just continue on with the survey. Now, that's something that's important to keep in mind when you're planning out your survey. You can redirect people to specific URLs based on the answers to any of the questions, but once you redirect them, that's it. The survey's over. So if you're going to redirect them in the middle of the survey, then they will never complete the end of the survey because that redirect ends the survey. So I don't want to redirect them just yet. I just want to have this question up there just so they can see the video. Most people I expect to say yes, but if they say no, incidentally, let's just say they say no, I don't want free training, I'm not interested in it. Well, in that case, I am going to redirect them. I don't want them to just go on with the survey because they just said they're not interested in free training. So instead, what I'm going to do in that case is redirect them to my web store. Because, hey, maybe they don't want free training, but they might buy something. Might as well get them over to my web store. What the hell? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and underneath where it says no, I'm going to enter in the URL of my web store. So now if they click yes, they want free training, They will continue on with the survey. If they click no, it'll send them over to my web store. Now, by default, this survey system has all the questions on a single web page. It loads all of the questions. And I don't want that for a very specific reason. Because if they load all the questions on the web page, then they're going to see the end where it asks them to enter in their email address. They're going to see that before they commit themselves to filling out the survey. So what I want is I want each question to be on its own page, because I want them to go through 3 or 4 questions. I want them to answer it. I want them to fill it out and commit themselves before I ask them for their email address, because that way they're much more likely to opt in, which is what I want. I want them to opt in so I can get their email and add it to my list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add in a page break. I'll drag that in there. And this way, the next question that I add below the page break will be on a new page that will load. And I'm going to do that between each question, so that way the question where it asks them for their email address is on its own page, and it's the last thing they see, making them more likely to opt in. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to enter in the rest of the questions for my survey. I'm not going to show that in this video just because I don't want the video to be too long. I'm going to go ahead and pause this. I'll enter in the rest of my questions, and then we'll come back when I'm done. All right, so I know that I said I was going to come back when I had the survey completed, but I'm still building it here. It's actually been about 3 minutes, and I'm still building my survey. But I did notice another thing that's kind of a pain. Before I tell you about the thing that's a pain, I do want to say that I really like the different kinds of questions that you can add in here. I've been testing the survey out as I've been building it, checking it over and filling the answers out, and it is pretty professional looking. I really like that. But there is something here about building it that's a real pain in the butt. And again, it's another design bug. Something I've noticed about this particular software is that it's got a ton of functionality, but the design really sucks. The interface kind of sucks about it. It could have been done much better, and it could have been made much easier to use. So here's the thing. As you add your questions, it kind of makes the page longer. So you can see I have all these questions here, and every time I add a question, it makes the page longer. So I'm going to add another question. It's going to go underneath this page break, and it's going to make the page even longer. But in order to add a question, I have to drag the question from the left into the right. But the questions are all the way up here. So what I have to do is just keep scrolling up and down and up and down, and it is a serious pain in the ass. I have to scroll over here, then I have to drag it down here, fill out my question, and then scroll back up again and find the question that I want, type I want, and drag it over there. It's a real pain in the butt. And they could have very easily solved this with a better user interface. I can think of a couple of different ways as a person that creates software, a couple of different ways they could have made this better. It is really just a poor design. And again, I want to say the functionality here is here. I love the functionality. It's just the design is poorly thought out. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to grab another question. Let's see. I want a multiple choice. So then I'm going to drag it in here. It's going to add it to the bottom. Then I've got to scroll all the way down again to fill it out again. Thank God I've only have to do this once because it's going to be a pain in the butt. Okay, so I've finished entering in all my questions, and now I'm on to customization. Your survey is fully customizable to a degree. I guess those two words kind of contradict each other. You can't add graphics, you can't add a logo, you can't add really branding to your company, which is pretty fucking lame, let's be honest. But you can change the colors. You can change the text colors and things like that. I really don't understand why they didn't even have the option to, upload a logo so you can brand a survey to your company, but they don't have it, at least not as far as I can see. You can go ahead and customize like the question colors, the answer colors, the hover color, button text background color. You can do things like that, but that seems to be the only options. In the thank you section, the default is thank you for taking the time to complete this survey. I want to give them customized training, so I'm going to say thank you for answering. I want to go ahead and I want to give them the training that I promised them, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say here is your free training, and I'm going to click the CTA text. I'll enter in get it now. And for the CTA URL, I'm just going to enter in a URL of one of my free training courses. I'll go ahead and paste in the URL of my free training course and click on Save Changes. And I should be all good to go now. I should have everything set up and I should be ready to go. I have a URL here for the survey that I can go ahead and click, and that will take me over to my survey. I can go ahead and click one of these shares here. If I go ahead and click on the Facebook share, it will load the Facebook share dialog, but you might notice there's no graphic here. And that's super lame. And that's because the system does not allow you to upload a custom OG Open Graph URL. When I personally design software that is meant to be shared on social media, I always allow people to upload a custom graphic or at least put a link into a custom graphic that will show on the share. And they don't have that on here, and that's kind of lame. It's not really going to stand out. It's just going to be this tiny little thing here. What you really want is a big graphic. So what I'm going to do is, if I decide to approve this software, I haven't decided yet. If I decide to approve it and I decide to endorse it and give bonuses away for people picking it up through me, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to include a software that will fix this, that will allow people to share their surveys on social media with a big graphic and not just a crappy little box with the title of your survey on it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use that software. I'm going to post this to Facebook, to my Facebook group, to a couple of other places, and I'm going to see what kind of results that I get from this software, and then I'll be back and I will show you the results, and then I will decide if I want to endorse it. So far in my testing, it's a very functional software. But it's also a software that's got some user interface bugs that really wasn't designed as well as it could have been. But if it gets results, that's the most important thing. And let's be honest, in the end, results are what we want. So let's see if we can get results. I'm going to post this for 24 hours and get people to the survey, see if they actually sign up for the survey, see if they complete it, and most importantly, see if it gets me email addresses to my email list. All right, see you guys in 24 hours. All right, guys, so it hasn't been quite 24 hours, but I've already got relevant results, and I've already pretty much made up my mind what I think about this software. The first thing, though, that I want to point out is that as I was going through my actual test and using this in my own business, I noticed a bunch of bugs. There was 4 or 5 pretty serious bugs, and normally at that point, I would have just said, you know what, screw it, the software doesn't work. I would have reported to everybody that the software doesn't work. And that would have been that. That would have been the end of it. However, there's something that I noticed here that made me really want to help the vendor make this software better. So if you actually look right here, so far I have 51 surveys completed out of a total of 113 people that have visited the page. So the survey is converting at a 45% opt-in rate. It's actually slightly above 45%. Now, 45% of the people that are coming to my survey are completing the survey, and most importantly, those people, in order to complete the survey, are giving me their email address. They're opting into my list. So in essence, I'm building a list with a 45% conversion rate. Now, being in the internet marketing space, I know the importance of list building. Your list is, in essence, your money. If you have a good opted-in email list, not a spam list that you bought. If you have a good opted-in email list, you're going to make money, plain and simple. People's email addresses are gold. They're basically money in your pocket. And I also know, because I've been in this space for a long time and have several squeeze pages, that a 45% conversion rate is unbelievable. The training that I'm giving away has its own regular squeeze pages besides this survey. It's something that I'm giving away, something that I've had for a while that I normally give away. And those squeeze pages to give away that training normally converts between 10 and 12%, about 11% average. What this means is that this survey is converting 4 times better. I'm 4xing my conversions by using this survey as opposed to using a traditional squeeze page. 4 times the opt-ins, 4 times the emails, 4 times the money. That's what made me want to work with the vendor and help him improve this software and help him fix this bugs. So pretty much all last night, I went back and forth with the vendor, testing the software, testing different features, reporting the bugs to him, and watching him fix those bugs. So kudos to him. He didn't just blow me off. He actually fixed the bugs that I pointed out. Now, there are a lot of ways that you can use surveys, but my goal was to build an email list because, as I said, email is money. And this software works. I'm building an email list pretty much better than I am using any of my squeeze pages. And that makes this a win. And the fact that I now help the vendor go through the software and iron out the bugs that were in it makes it a good software. Sure, it still has its GUI and its interface quirks that I really wish they could maybe improve on at some point, but the major bugs have been fixed with my assistance. The software works, it gets 4 times results, and now I feel it's something that I can say is worth investing in. So what I want you to do is look below this video if you're on the bonus page. If you're not on the bonus page, look below this video and click the link to go to the bonus page. Check out the timer on the bonus page. And if there's time on that timer, you can click the button at the bottom to check out the sales page for this software. And if you choose to invest in it, you will not only get a software that I helped fix and helped improve, and that is getting me 4 times results, but you will also get all the special bonuses that you see listed on this bonus page. Just make sure you claim those bonuses right away, because when the timer expires, I will not be giving them away anymore. Thank you and enjoy.